Teen Queens. How an anti-monarchist generation became obsessed with fictional royals. Welcome to USA 24, my dream channel. The Crown. Get out of here. A new crop of books and TV shows have been hooking Gen Z readers and viewers on the antics of fictional royal dynasties, while certain media outlets have been riled up about the precise ratio of reality to fiction in Peter Morgan's sumptuous portrayal of Windsor life. You may watch Young Royals, a Swedish teen drama about Prince Wilhelm, Edvin Riding, and fellow student Simon Eriksson, Omar Rudberg, on Netflix, the platform where Morgan's show is available. The Norwegian film Royal Teen, about Lena, a regular girl who falls in love with a party prince after she transfers to a new school, is another option. Identify a theme yet? More of the same can be found if you visit the romance section of a high street bookstore. The 2019 novel Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston, which served as the basis for this week's glitzy Prime Video adaptation, is at the top of the Fauve Palace pecking order. Instead of following the traditional royal falls for a civilian path, McQuiston narrates the story of a transatlantic power couple who went from being adversaries to falling in love. The witty son of the first female president of the United States, Alex Claremont Diaz, played by Taylor Zachar Perez, believes that British Prince Henry, Nicholas Galitzine, has the personality of a cabbage. These two genetically endowed Nepo infants must appear to be friends in order to keep the special relationship intact after an incident during Henry's brother's wedding leaves them both covered in wedding cake. But they are able to view one another differently after spending time together under duress. They first become friends, then friends with benefits, and then they start dating. Most authors would kill for the kind of word-of-mouth popularity that McQuiston's book has experienced. They mentioned fast-talking political TV dramas like Veep and The West Wing as influences, as well as the 2015 romance, The Royal We by Heather Cox and Jessica Morgan, which eerily foretold a royal falling in love with an American. Thank you. Please subscribe to my channel. It achieved success on the New York Times bestseller list without the aid of a significant marketing effort or a shout-out from a celebrity book club. 3 months after publication, the Wall Street Journal reported that the book had already gone through 7 print runs. On TikTok, #RedWhiteandRoyalBlue has 527.7 million views at the time of writing and contained a ton of fan edits set to Taylor Swift tracks, including unofficial transatlantic love hymn London Boy, and will almost surely give those already strong sales a further boost once the movie is released. Authors have long found that the pomp and circumstance of royalty, whether real or imagined, makes for good subject matter. In books aimed at young adults, it's common for characters to fall in love with someone who turns out to be of noble descent or learn they are the heirs to an ancient monarchy. I read Meg Cabot's Princess Diaries books as a young preteen in the 2000s. In these books, high school student Mia Thermopolis discovers that her father is the Prince of Genovia, a tiny European country. I could probably still sing you their charming national anthem from memory thanks to the 2001 film adaptation starring Anne Hathaway as Mia and Julie Andrews as her grandma, who is like Mary Poppins in a herm scarf. The Prince and Me, a movie about a young Danish monarch who poses as a commoner at an American university and begins dating Paige, a medical student played by Julia Stiles, came out a few years later. These tales feel like an extension of royal rumor to Falling Hard for the Royal Guard author Megan Clausen, whose book is based on her personal experience dating a King's Guard and living in the Tower of London. She explains, "Your ancestors would have heard rumors about, oh, is the king going to marry this woman? And now we fictionalize it in stories." Similar to The Crown, she continues, these works aim to provide us with an insider's look into a world that we wouldn't ever see otherwise. However, what's remarkable about this present royal boom is that it occurs at a time when, generally speaking, at least in the UK, Gen Z could care less about the institution of royalty. A BBC Panorama Commission YouGov poll from April found that 38% of 18 to 24-year-olds preferred an elected head of state to a king or queen, while only 32% said they supported the monarchy. 75% of the same age group said they didn't care very much or at all about King Charles' coronation in May. So why, with all the apathy, this affinity for imaginary royals? Historically dismissed by literary critics as a guilty pleasure at best, romance is currently seeing a true rebirth. Younger readers are also becoming more and more interested in it, in large part because of Book Talk, the TikTok sub-community devoted to all things literary. There's a recognition now that romance isn't just for a particular age group, it's for all age groups, says Katie Fraser, a staff writer at the bookseller who publishes the weekly Books on Book Talk section for the publishing magazine. Younger readers are reviving the genre, which is fantastic to hear. It is also receiving the accolades it well deserves. According to industry data provider Nielsen Bookscan, since 2019, pre-Book Talk, the volume and value of romance books as a category have increased by 115% and 160% respectively. Romance fiction, in general, is all about escapism, according to Clausen. Given that dating apps have made in-person romantic encounters much more uncommon, it's not surprised that the genre is popular, offering us a fantastical setting where you can still find love organically. When you include in palaces, money, and regal titles, the sense of imagination only intensifies. Louisa Smith, founder of the book website Epic Book Society and a huge fan of Red, White, and Royal Blue, agrees that royal rom-com books, in particular, allow you to escape from reality into a world of glamour, luxury, and opulence, which are unattainable lifestyles for many of us. After finishing McQuiston's book, she moved on to Rachel Hawkins' Her Royal Highness, about an American who moves to Scotland to attend boarding school. Where she falls in, it's also important to point out that Red, White, and Royal Blue's escapism has a strong political bent and is set in a parallel universe where a female Democrat wins the presidency in 2016. Similar to how they could be in a period drama like Bridgerton, the formality and elaborate etiquettes present in many of these romances may also contribute to their attractiveness, according to Clausen. It feels more realistic when a romantic comedy features regular people, to the point where it occasionally even stings a little. While keeping in mind that, oh, this isn't me, this isn't happening, add the separation from royalty, and the romance is exciting. To put it another way, it is exciting enough to keep you reading or watching, but it won't likely cut too deeply. Red, White, and Royal Blue is not, however, royalist propaganda. The book is full of snarky asides on how objectively odd the general obsession with all things regal truly is. It is told from Alex's insider-outsider perspective as an American confronted with the inner workings of palace life. For Alex, a royal wedding is as sexy as a business transaction. It is insane to him that millions of people follow the intensely dull dating lives of the royal siblings in tabloids. Despite what you may infer from my body of work, I have never been a royal fanatic, McQuiston has previously stated. However, they do admit to having a soft spot for royal rebels Diana and Meghan. Unavoidably, some readers have noticed similarities to the real-life romance between the Sussexes, although McQuiston emphasizes that the concept predates H&M's relationship revelation. Smith claims that despite coming from different cultures and origins and having endured challenges, Alex and Henry continue to hold on to each other and support each other. The movie expands in broad strokes on those similarities because it was written and produced after Megxit. At one point, Henry sighs with a phrase that could have come straight out of Spare. They love the idea of me and now they must face the reality. Perhaps it's a little simpler for American authors to write about the royals, even fictional versions, without having to engage in a deeper discussion about their feelings toward the institution or risk being accused of forelock tugging. The royal we author Morgan stated in a 2020 interview, "My taxes don't go to pay for them," before summarizing their attraction to both sides of the Atlantic. We are taught to watch them as a soap opera as American culture consumers, and they are pretty dramatic. In a way, these stories are obviously having their £75,000 royal wedding cake and eating it too, as they can play with all the telegenic trappings of royalty, the large set pieces at balls, and in high-ceilinged palace rooms, the handsome leads in formal dress, while flinging in the occasional critique to balance things out. But what makes movies like Red, White, and Royal Blue and Young Royals so revolutionary is that they're mainstreaming queer romance. One of the most heteronormative institutions there is royalty, which places a strong emphasis on bloodlines and successors. Even though Alex and Henry live in a slightly more liberal parallel universe, McQuiston doesn't sugarcoat the difficulties they face as a prominent gay couple on the international stage. In the movie, when Henry's relationship is revealed to the press, Henry's family doesn't exactly welcome the unseemly reports as King Stephen Fry. Of course, they cast Stephen Fry as King, puts it. Your duty to your country comes before everything else, he continues. For the spare bingo card, one more. According to Fraser, McQuiston's work provided a romance story that many people needed and wanted to see on the page. It was affirming the reality of joy and love in all forms and expanding the possibilities for romantic comedy. Although the actual institution may find it difficult to adapt, tales like McQuiston's are bringing the royal rom-com to a more diverse audience. And to support it, you don't have to wave a royalist flag.